Hello folks and welcome to day 11 of your Race to World First daily recap. My name is Kexman and I am here to bring you all of the updates to what has been happening. Be sure to follow so you never miss out on any of your daily recaps. Before we get into it, let's take a look at the leaderboard from our friends at Raider.io. Be sure to head over to raider.io/RWF for your live look at the race. This leaderboard is accurate as of 5:45 PM BST, and in first place we have Liquid, in second Echo, Method are in third, Hot Pot Hero in fourth, JTH in fifth, Zbox in sixth, in seventh End Myth, Fat Shark Yes in eighth, Instant Dollars in ninth, and Synergy in 10th. With the third day of progression on Queen Ansurek upon us, we were starting to see that age-old question being asked. Is this boss even killable in its current state? With 4 guilds all plugging away at the Monarch of Azj-Kahet, we were seeing different levels of progression. Before they went to bed, Liquid were getting consistency into Phase 3, so they were setting the bar high for Echo, Method, and Hot Pot Hero during their progression. Echo were finding their groove into Phase 3, progressing almost side by side with Liquid, with a very exciting moment of both guilds getting new best attempts at 33.25% for Echo and 30.7% for Liquid. Method and Hot Pot Hero were struggling to see any clean pulls into the intermission and Phase 2. This set a pattern for the majority of the day, and the EU guilds went to bed. Method sat at a best of 61%, and Echo on their 33.25%. With the previously mentioned Phase 3 consistency, the hope from the Liquid camp was that we would continue this into day 11. And the team certainly did their best to get back to that level. We saw some very good pulls from them, and it was looking promising. The 4 Acolytes spawn deep into Phase 3 that originally caused fear to run through the raid team was now seen as a challenge that they knew they could overcome. Whilst it wasn't clean, we were starting to see some incredible percentages from the team, moving from the high 30% mark to another best attempt at 30.1%. While the health percentages were moving in small increments, the knowledge they were getting from seeing further into Phase 3 was invaluable. Then suddenly, Daddy Blizzard made themselves known. Coming in at around 3 AM EU time and around 11 AM Pacific time, we saw our third nerf to the race. The essences that dropped from dead acolytes, forcing players to carry them through the beam portals, saw a 12.5% reduction in the damage they caused to the players carrying them. On top of that, we also saw an 8% damage reduction to the Royal Condemnation cast from the Queen herself. These two changes were huge, massively reducing the damage taken during some of the most difficult portions of Phase 3. The big question was, how much would this change for Liquid? The answer soon arrived, with Liquid once again making some fantastic progression, consistently reaching Phase 3 and learning more and more about how they should approach it. And then the dam finally broke. Liquid had been sitting on a best of 25% for a little while, yet on pull 288, they managed to make everything click, and they not only saw the enrage of the fight, they also had a new best of 15%. The energy was off the charts, and suddenly the Queen seemed killable for the first time since she'd been reached. With 12 essences to pick up, it certainly seems as though the boss needs to be dead before they reach this point of the fight, or have every cooldown available to them. They finished their night with a best of 15.27%, and knew that they had an incredible lead over the teams below them. Over in Germany, Echo and Method rose and were immediately ready to get back into the royal chambers. Echo made very quick work, getting an early new best attempt of 27.35%, as the nerfs certainly seem to have done their job of making Phase 3 easier than previously. During this time, we also saw a heartbreaking issue for Hot Pot Hero, as they awoke ready to take on Queen Ansurek, but found their raid lockout had reset to 0 out of 8 Mythic. We had seen this bug already, as it had also happened to the guild Ethical. It took about an hour for NetEase to fix, but it still represented time lost on a boss where time is very precious. Meanwhile, Method certainly had eaten their Weetabix, getting some huge early progression with a 46% best pull, a full 10% improvement. This set Method on a roll, with them getting back to back to back new best pulls, and finding a consistency that was similar to what we had seen from Liquid previously. They were still using their bloodlust on the final Phase 2 platform, however, whereas Liquid have been able to save it for their Phase 3 push. Echo, meanwhile, were in the process of switching their bloodlust to Phase 3, so whilst health percentages did not take huge leaps, their fight progression was moving in an incredibly positive direction. With the end of day 11 approaching, Echo was sat at a current best of 26.23%, Method were at 39.55%, and Hotpot Hero was stood at 56.53%. Elsewhere, we also saw more kills on Nexus Princess Kaibeza, as Endmyth finally took the boss down on pull 480, claiming World 7th. This gives us 4 Chinese guilds in the top 7 of the leaderboard, and it seems as though they will be pushing hard for that Race to World First win, as they are the only region that currently has an actual prize pool for a winner. And just after Endmyth killed Kaibeza, Fat Shark Yes came in and claimed World 8th. And shortly after that, we also saw Instant Dollars coming in to claim World 9th. Day 11 gave us the first real look at a world where we'll actually see Queen Ansurek fall before the reset. Will Liquid be able to hold on to their lead, or will Echo, Method, and Hotpot Hero be able to catch up and really put pressure on? Only time will tell, so be sure to follow for your Race to World First daily recap.